Alrighty then, it's time for a team battle Trundle. It's another one of those pranked preseason games. Yay, which one? And I quite enjoy Trundle in the new jungle, mostly because he's one of the ones that are better off than a lot of other junglers. Like, he's always sort of been one of the quote-unquote best junglers in the game. It's just never exactly the best to pick, because his his strengths are very specific as to who he works well against. He's always been sustained. He's always been having moderate to strong clears, and he's excelled in every season, except not as a pick and generally. Well, but you've seen him. He has rarely received any changes of any sort, and he's gone from viable to unviable every now and then. And it's only viable and competitive. Like, I'd still pick him in solo queue, and I can still win, because he's honestly a very annoying character to deal with, and has some very strong ganks, especially versus some types of champions. Now, well, first I'll show this. This is the first gank I managed to pull off, but it doesn't secure a kill, still though. I go in, just bite Malzahar, and now I gain a position of advantage against him. He can no longer play aggressive against Zed like he was trying to, and doing so would be stupid. So I go to try to gank top lane, and I notice Kha'Zix is sneaking down to the mid lane. Zed sees this, he's warned, so he just backs away. I could decide to go fight Kha'Zix. 1v1, Trundle should destroy Kha'Zix. And honestly, I guess he DC'd or just didn't care anymore. He just stopped living life. He died right there at his wraiths. And look at his Malzahar. He's still playing ridiculously aggressive despite having no flash. And he should know that I'm here because his ward should shown me pass by. So it's an easy gank, and we obtain the kill on the Malzahar. Easy peasy. Anyways, runes and masteries are actually the same as before. Attack damage red, attack damage quints, armor yellow, magic resistance blues, and some cooldown reduction blues, and 921 0 masteries. Same classic Trundle. Very powerful. Sustain, can handle the the new monsters. Really no problem. So if you're thinking about Trundle, or if you've been wondering what I've been thinking about Trundle or what my opinion is, just he's the same thing. Like, he's always just still very strong in a lot of categories. The only thing though that I truly feel it kind of got ripped away from Trundle, and I felt it in this game, is his damage build from the jungle has been nerfed. Not because he can't build it or he can't doesn't make good use of it, but because the amount of gold you get from the jungle now is like a lot more stingy. More stingy than it used to be, so you can't exactly just straight up buy a lot of powerful items. Remember, I used to buy Madrid's Razor. By the way, here I should have just flashed Madrid's Razor or Spirit of the Ancient Golem, and then Blade of the Rune King quite early, and I would destroy people. But now it's sort of delayed. Plus, this is complete bullshit in my opinion. Look at this. Despite the fact that I was involved in 4 kills, 2 which I obtained and 2 which I assisted on my other teammates, I'm actually pretty goddamn underleveled in comparison to the rest of the team. Like, hell, look at the Riven. The Riven and the Lissandra. The Riven showed up mid to sap some experience, but the point still stands. In a lot of games, I felt this. It's just I'm underleveled, and it feels like I can't really contribute as much as I used to. So you either have to have cheesy characters that can just dominate people regardless of these things like Lee Sin, Jarvan, and shit, or you better hope that your champion doesn't really need level skill all that well. It is really silly, and I feel like something should be done about that. At least give us some more boost when we kill people. I mean, look at this. I bought Stalker's Blade because I figured, the Saber, I wouldn't get a chance to use it too much because all the enemy team members except Malzahar are jumpy and shit, and they have a Janna. So I bought Stalker's Blade because I don't need Ranger's Trailblazer. However, it ended up making me feel I needed to hold it because there would always be a fight soon enough. And I end up not getting the experience of no camps, end up kind of just not burning it and not getting any and so sort of starting to trail behind, and it sort of just feels stupid. I mean, sure, I probably have to get used to reading situations a tad better when I use a Stalker's Blade, but honestly, you cannot predict what's going to happen a minute down the line. The game is as slow as it feels. It's actually pretty fast, the shit that happens. Like, if they need to lower the cooldown on Smite, or they just need to give some more incentive to kill people, or at least a reward Like, look at this. The Riven is, I believe, 2 levels higher than me. Yes, and then there's a Lissandra 3 levels higher than me. Lissandra has only 1 fucking kill and 1 assist. I have 2 kills and 5 assists, and I'm still less than her. I mean, yeah, she has 3 times my CS, but still, I mean, back then in the jungle, I would at least be on par or at least 1 level below. So this is silly. But still, though, Trundle is one of those few champions who, at least his supportive build, being tanky and just spamming your wall, doesn't get too weakened by it being under-leveled. My ability to duel people and sort of to survive the shenanigans and just be a general nuisance is definitely weakened, though. I need the levels in order to reach that level of Dickitude. So as you can see, my team pretty much doesn't make the best trade-off here. We go even, though it goes more in the favor of them because we were already kind of ahead. So they got a lot of bounty gold, and it turns out, you know, it's kind of it wasn't a good idea. Still, though, like in terms of power level, Trundle will still be among like the top 5, but I would say he's still not worth a pick, mostly because you're kind of stuck with him just being a wall bot. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but a weakened wall bot. Like back then, if you guys remember my old Trundle replays, I would have quite a few kills, or not at all, but I would still be very tanky. My wall would be on a really low cooldown, and I would just be a fucking annoying bastard against the enemy team, and there would be nothing they could do. They could focus me, and then I use my ultimate, and then I just refuse to die, or my walls completely cripple entire enemy positions, and we win. Trundle can do that still, but to a much lesser effect. Just because itemization and the gold you get now just feels so poor. I mean, the items themselves don't. Like, they're kind of the same thing. But I mean, the ability to get them. Like, right now, I build Blade of the Rune King because I wanted, you know, the ability to fight people. But by now, the Juggernaut's still not complete. But by now, I should have had a Spirit of the Ancient Golem back, like in season 4 and hell, even season 3. It just feels sad. I mean, I guess it could be argued that the gold from the dragon that you'd get from there really helped. And actually, that makes a lot of sense. But it'd still probably be obtaining other gold from other sources. Anyways, look at this. I see Riven through a little bit of piece of the map, so I ping her on the map, and I go straight at her to try to duel her. Now, I didn't use my ultimate because I guess I got stunned before I could use it. I was going to do auto attack Q ultimate, and she almost killed me. But if I had used my ultimate, I probably would have even taken half that amount of damage. And if it was on level with her, I probably wouldn't have taken any damage, period. Still, though, I love Trundle, and I'm sort of just glad that this season didn't take him out or too much, only affected him in a way that everybody else was affected money-wise. Other than that, hooray for Trundle. Tell me which champions you want me to jungle in the comment section, and I'll consider it for the next video. Hooray!